Dedham, what am I doing? Chairman Denham and Ranking Member Capuano for holding this hearing on the reauthorization of DOT's pipeline safety program. This is what happens when you have 4 hearings before noon, so I apologize. I want to thank my colleagues, too, from California for their appearing today and really underscoring the important role we all play in ensuring the safety of the American public. In Connecticut, we know all too well the consequences that can happen from procedures not being followed. In 2010, we lost 6 workers with the explosion of a natural gas facility right as it was nearing completion. So we have important work to do, and I've seen the effects right in my own state. Safety is paramount when it comes to producing and transporting energy across the United States. And I, too, am frustrated, as you have heard from others up here, about the lack of progress in ensuring all of the criteria are being met in fulfilling the 2011 law. We need to be making forward progress on each and every one of those elements. And I hope that PHMSA and this committee can work together to improve pipeline safety in the United States so that we can avoid tragic accidents in the future. Before I get to my questions, I want to add my voice in support of ensuring that PHMSA has emergency order authority to protect public safety. It just makes no sense that you lack this authority, and as we've seen, particularly with changes in the energy composition in this country, it is particularly important that you be accorded this authority, and I hope we can work together to ensure that that happens sooner than later. So, Administrator Dominguez, a couple of questions for you. In an October 2015 notice of proposed rulemaking, PHMSA indicated that it was considering whether to require emerging technologies to be considered when evaluating types of leak detection systems that are appropriate for a particular pipeline, and that PHMSA will consider in its report to us, to Congress, on pipeline safety, whether the use of specific leak detection technologies should be required. Well, I would encourage PHMSA to address this issue in that report, and I would ask you whether you know whether PHMSA is going to be addressing this issue when writing the regulations, and specifically, will PHMSA be making specific recommendations about types of technologies to be used in certain circumstances?
Thank you for the question. I believe you were you were referring to a rule. I believe it was the hazardous liquid rule, notice of proposed rulemaking that we issued in October of last year, which indeed required looking at leak detection systems for both new and existing hazardous liquid lines. So there is a provision in that notice of proposed rulemaking to do exactly that.
That's a question. I think this is, I know historically agencies understandably have been reluctant to specify particular technologies because the technologies change, but there are new technologies coming online that are vastly superior to what we have been using. And I guess the question is, are you going to either be specifying new technologies or at least setting standards that are in accordance with what new technologies now allow us to achieve?
I agree with you that there are emerging technologies constantly on the forefront of advancement. That said, one of the things that we're looking at as one of the mandates that's in the 2011 Act is looking at how we best address leak detection, but a good portion of that is also on rupture detection to actually understand the sensitivity of any particular line. So as one, we've been investing very heavily in the R&D on leak detection. About 10% of our overall R&D dollars that Congress has provided has gone to research and leak detection. Moving forward, we want to make sure that we advance and continue to understand all the technology that is emerging, and as we do so, we'll look to regulate particularly on the areas that we think are very clear right now based on the data that we have, in particular on rupture detection, and then we'll move forward on leak detection.
All right, thank you very much. I think it's particularly important that we do support the R&D efforts, but continue to raise those standards, especially as we, again, are becoming more reliant on this for basic energy for so much of the country. It is important that we continue to raise those standards in accordance with what is going to best protect the American public. So please let us know if there's anything we need to do on our end to ensure that we don't lock in stone a lower standard than is possible. And I guess that's part of my concern, that we lock ourselves into the past rather than moving forward in a safer direction. Thank you very much, and I yield back.
I thank the gentlelady.